On the last episode of Shears and Coffee, we introduced you to the stylists who won a trip to the Redken Exchange in New York. Chris asks the stylists about their experience at the exchange. Listen to their advice they give to current and future stylists in the industry.
So, advice for hairdressers. We're going to bounce off the class now, and I'm going to say, what advice would you give a new hairdresser coming into the industry? Like, meaning, when you started, was it what you expected in the salon industry?
No.
What did you expect? I know it's a rough question, but
it's so different. But I would say, like, looking back at it, don't freak out. Like, don't stress over literally the stupidest things. Like, I wish I could look back and just tell myself that, because I feel like, and also too, like, if you make a mistake, it's okay. You know, like, and that's the thing is, like, I feel like once you're thrown on the floor, everyone's so hard on themselves and they get so worked up, and you can't do that. You gotta just, like, ease into it. You know, don't second guess everything.
Correct.
You know?
Okay. Mayor, any thoughts?
I think a piece of advice is don't be worried about, like, the first salon you get into. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be your perfect fit. I was at 2 different salons before I found this one, mm-hmm. and they were definitely not my fit, but this one was like, oh, this is like my second home, basically. Like, this is where I'm comfortable. So don't be worried about finding your perfect match right away. Just, like, if something doesn't feel right, there's something more for you.
Right.
So trust your gut in that sense. Like, you'll find exactly where you need to be when you first start out.
Okay.
I'd say continuing from that, this is like a very big thing that I always say, especially in the back, because as hairstylists, once we get on the floor, we're always comparing ourselves to each other. I feel like there's so much, like, I mean, there is a thing as healthy competition for sure, right. Mm-hmm. That helps you to, like this competition we just had, right? Like, we were all happy for each other and everything. But don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody is on a different journey, right?
Some build faster, some build slower.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't start my career, which is this, until I was 24, 25. According to me, I had to hustle because I was like, by 30, I want to be at, like, a position where I can buy a house, I can do this and that, you know. So I'm like, okay, I need to do this. My first year full time, I made $50K.
Right.
I made an easy $50K, including tips and everything else. But it's not always something that everybody has to go for, right? Mm-hmm. And if you aren't going for it, that is okay. You are on your own path. You are on your own journey. Do what you can do the best. That is all you can do. Mm-hmm. There is nothing more that you can do other than your best. Now, that's a different thing if you're not trying. Right. There's so many resources in our industry where you can always do better. You can always make more money, you know? Like, I have so many friends who are nurses and stuff. When they go to work on a Saturday, when they go to work on a Tuesday, they're still making the same per hour that they are making. Right. When I can easily make so much more in 1 hour if I just decide to do something different, do an add-on, a little deep conditioning here, a little gloss there, you know. So you can always do better, but follow your path, follow your journey, and don't overly criticize yourself, because you'll get where you want to be in the time that you need to have.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. I mean, because what other industry, I mean, can you really, I guess, set your own price to a point after a while? I mean, like you said, if you're a nurse, you got this pay. You know, in our industry, we do have the ability, you know, to, you know, you're out marketing yourself, you're doing your stuff. If I'm getting more clients in, or I'm taking this color, I'm going to make her a balayage and all that. So your range of money can vary depending on what you put in, the effort you get in, the effort you get out, you know. So it's a perfect, I love that answer.
For me, I would probably say own your troubles. and your problems. They're gonna come, it happens. I am someone who's very, very hard on myself. So once I started all of this and I was on the floor and I would have my mess ups, my little mistakes here and there, I would get so into my head about it. Right. But now that I've been doing this for a lot longer now, I've learned to just own up to it, to take a step back, see what it is that I need to do to fix it, and just go on from there. Because I feel like if you just go into your head about it too much, you're gonna end up breaking yourself down a lot more than bringing yourself back up. So I would definitely say just owning your mistakes and your problems that you have, your little mishaps that happen. Just don't get into your head about it too much.
Yeah, and you guys all had this, okay? And this is going to be a little raw one here we're going to throw out. Everybody's had, when you first start out, you're going to have a client, okay? And you're going to have that first redo or that, and everybody panics, everybody has a heart attack, and I remember me going, oh my God, this, and obviously no names, just your first one, was it hard to deal with? I'm just asking, just for, the newbies out there that want to go into the industry, and you get into the floor and you're like, wow, this is just truthful stuff. You're always going to have that first one and you're always learning from it, correct?
Absolutely.
And have you had any that taught you a lot more, or have you learned anything from that?
Like with my first redo, I think it was just like miscommunication. Like clearly it all starts with a consultation.
Right.
So clearly we weren't on the same page.
Right.
But it's hard to remember. But yeah, it was just like a lot of miscommunication. And now like I am so thorough with my consultations. Like my consultations are to a T now because of just all of the miscommunication.
Well, and that's what's important, you guys understand as new stylists. What's read to you, read to me is different.
Correct.
So that's something we have to figure out in the consultation.
Yes. It all starts with the consultation.
Yep. I think my first one was like really right when I started out, and I ran behind.
Yep.
And it was again a communication issue between the two of us, because I thought I was understanding what she was trying to tell me, but she was using different words and I didn't think to clarify, because I was like, oh, well then she must know what she wants because this is what she said and what she showed me. But then it was very different what she wanted. Right. And I ran behind and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'll ever recover from this. And right. Then it was like, oh, I don't. After it was resolved, I was like, oh, actually, that was okay. It no hair was lost. Right. It really wasn't that big a deal. So, but it was just,
we're always harder on ourselves.
It was a timing thing for me that caused that one. So.
Well, I remember. I'm going to tell you my first, you guys, and then you guys will finish here. The one I remember the most, I was doing this client. He came in and he was getting he was going to prom. So I'm cutting his hair. It's a guy, short scissor over comb, okay, short, and I cut his ear. And I'm like, he's going to prom, and I'm like, oh my God. But those are the things that sort of like stick with you, and I'm like, still I remember that so vividly. Obviously you got a free haircut, everybody, okay? But I was like taken back a little bit by it, So, but you do learn, and it's just experiences,
Yeah.
Aruj?
I'm trying to remember.
And if you don't, you don't. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to make other stylists, that
I think I do remember a little bit of. I think my first one was somebody had box tie in their hair, and she wanted something that was maybe achievable, maybe not, because colors from a box come in so many different. It's the porosity of your hair. It's so many different factors that go into it, and I ran late not to that appointment because of that appointment, but her color just wouldn't lift. Right. It just wouldn't lighten. Like, I have the foil sitting on there and I'm like freaking out in the back, and I'm like, this is just not happening. I don't know. I promised her. I told her like this. And then I did what I could. I'm like, your hair can't take it any longer. this is it,
Right.
you know, like this, we're not damaging it. So we did what we could, and I mean, she wasn't the happiest, but I told her we tried our best and did what we can. From then on, and I freaked out so hard. And I went and talked to Jean, my manager, and she was like, that is when you under-promise and you over-deliver, and also sign the forms.
Right.
So, I was like, yeah, I mean, that was a doozy. It took me aback, and for a minute there, I was really scared to touch anybody who had previous collar on, and I was like, oh my God, is it gonna go? Is it gonna go?
Right.
But as you move forward, as you grow, I mean, you definitely learn more tips and tricks and how you can handle a situation or how you can handle certain hair. And it's still to this day. I just had a couple redos last week. I came to you, I remember, and I feel like something you said changed my mind completely and like opened up. You said it is good to have redos once in a while because it means that you are trying new things and opening up to new perspectives. And I was like, okay, now I feel a little better about myself.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because, we were talking and she came up to me and I was like, sometimes when you get a redo, I'm trying something different. I'm doing something different. I'm going out of the box. I'm giving her something different. So is there somebody maybe once in a while, maybe it didn't communicate right, but my belief in the big picture is the more you change people, the more the clients are going to love you, the more they're going to stay because people want change. They might not know what they want. So that's where it comes in from you guys, So to me, if you're changing, you do get a redo once in a while, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. We fix it. That's our goal. I mean, that's what we do as a salon. So
For me, it started the very first day that I was on the floor.
That's probably
It was
the worst one.
so bad. It was very bad. But the lady was so sweet about it, and it was just a color touch-up that for some reason did not take to this day. I have no idea what happened, but she was so sweet about it. I ran to the back, and everybody was in the back, and I was like, guys, I don't know what to do.
I remember this.
Like, do I tell her, like, what's happening? And they're like, you have to tell her. I know it's scary, but you have to tell her. And so while I'm rinsing her out, I'm telling her, listen, I'm going to have you come in a different day. It did not take the way that we were hoping it would. I was like, it's going to be completely on me. Don't even worry about it. I'll do a whole, shampoo blow dry for you and everything. I'll blow it out nicely for you. And she's like, okay, yeah, that's perfectly okay. I'm glad that you told me. Not a lot of people would tell me. And after that, she was so nice the day that followed. We got it all fixed up. But after that, I went to the back after, and I was like, thank you guys for helping me kind of just resituate myself and everything. But yeah, first day was rough.
Oh yeah, it is a uncomfortable position, and especially your first day, you're probably like, I'm done. Why did I go? Why did I go to beauty school? I don't want to do this. I've seen it. But for the stylists out there that are new, it is going to happen, and you're just going to get better and better and better, and the more effort you put in, the better you're going to get, and it gets easier and it gets more confident. So, well, I'm glad you guys came. I appreciate you guys coming and taking the time today to do this. One last word, the whole experience, one word. How do you explain it?
Incredible.
Okay, here we go. The whole trip, meaning the whole facade of going there and all that.
That's informative.
There we go. Any of them work. That's perfect.
Do you want to go first? My words are not wording in my head.
Come on, I'm putting you guys on the spot.
I would probably say chaotic, but in a good way.
There you go.
All I can think of is new. There were so many new beginnings in that trip for me, from the new class, from the first time in New York. It was one of my first the longer vacation in quite a few years. So that was new. And then, my experience and everything. I got engaged there too. So it was just, very new. Never been engaged before, so new.
So you're always going to be like, Redken engagement.
Look at that.
Yeah, maybe Redken will help pay for your wedding, huh?
Maybe tag Redken in this video.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you again. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and we do more of these. You guys are going to be in on this, correct? All right, we'll do more of these. So, all right, I want to thank everybody for being here from Shears and Coffee. And my name is Chris, and our next episode is going to be with our managers to get some feedback from them. Thank you, guys.